Hey YouTube fam, welcome back. If you don't know me already, my name is Risa and I am a therapist and I've known the darkness and I want to help you find the light. Today we're talking about silence and loneliness. I believe that people aren't actually afraid of being alone. What they're actually afraid of is the silence, because silence, it can be quite intimidating and it can actually be quite loud. If you have ever tried to sit in a room with complete silence, or whenever you wake up super early before everyone else and it's just so deafening silent, you will notice that thoughts in your head, it starts running like a broken record. And it's not, you're no different from anyone else. This is called the default mode network. And it is when your brain doesn't have a task to do, and you're not working on a goal, or you're being distracted. The default mode network gets turned on, and that is when your mind starts wandering and you daydream, you have fantasies. And how you turn that off is by keeping busy and being distracted. Not that that is a healthy, I can't talk very well today. I did have a glass of wine, but who cares? I needed a treat. So the default mode network, it gets turned off by you being distracted and busy. And it's not always a good coping mechanism, because if you have stuff inside of you that you've been suppressing and stuffing it down under and avoiding to look at it, you're going to have problems later on down the road, guaranteed. And I'm telling you this heart to heart as a therapist, you will have problems if you don't face those dark parts of yourself. As a therapist, I see this all the time. People coming in talking super fast, jumping from one topic to another, and laying out their whole entire lives, all the traumas that they've been through right in front of me. And you would think that they're processing, but really they're actually avoiding. They're avoiding the silence, because when it gets quiet, that's when the things that they've been running from start to come up. So what do? We stay busy, we scroll, we eat, we chase, we shop, we distract, and we say to ourselves, time will heal all of our wounds. We keep stuffing it down, eventually we'll forget it. Time will heal it. But the reality is, time will never heal what you don't face. Your mind might forget in old age, but your body never will. It will manifest in ways that you at least expect, whether it's your relationships, finances, or your health. You know that random ache you've been feeling in your body? The one that comes and goes, especially when you're stressed? Or the racing thoughts that you have as soon as your head hits the pillow? Or the emptiness you feel inside, echoes from the past saying, you're not enough, you're not doing enough, or if I only get over this mountain, then I will be happy. That is what happens when things go unaddressed. And the silence, it brings it all back up. We're afraid of silence because it speaks. It reflects to us our deepest insecurities, our fears, and even in everyday conversations, we rush to fill this awkward silence, because that void, it mirrors back to us the very things that we're trying to avoid. But what if we stopped running from it? What if we faced it, and so that we can find peace that sustains? This is what Carl Jung is talking about, our shadow, the parts of ourselves that we don't want to look at, our insecurities, our fears, our shame. And instead of facing it, we run, we project, we distract ourselves, we stay busy. But the thing about the shadow is it doesn't go away. It only shows up in other areas of your life, whether it's your relationships, your behavior, your habits, your health, your finances. 10 years from now, 20 years from now, guarantee you it's going to show up. It's not going anywhere until you face it. Let me get a little bit personal here. I used to be like this, running away, distracting myself, staying busy, just so I don't have to look at my shadow. Before I became a therapist, the silence used to wreck me. For work, I had to wake up at 3 in the morning, 6 days a week for years. And let me tell you, waking up at 3 in the morning when no one else is awake, it is just dead silent. And at that time, the silence could be peaceful for some who have done the work of integrating their shadow. But for those who have not, your mind, it starts playing those old scripts. You're not good enough. And your fears start showing up, your insecurities, and all those things, it starts coming back in the dead of silence, and which makes a lot of sense why people who are in jail, when they get put into solitary confinement, they literally go insane because they can't face their minds and what it's saying to them. Anyway, so my thoughts would start playing like a broken record, and there was nowhere to escape. So I would end up on my knees crying and not wanting to get on camera, because that's what was required for my job, was to get on camera and teach children across the world. And it felt incredibly alone. Anyway, so my thoughts would start running in the silence. That's the default mode network, remember, guys? And I would have nowhere to escape. I can't escape my thoughts. And I'm about to start work, and I don't want to get on camera and have my students see that I'm upset and risk the possibility of losing my job because I can't keep it together. And I would have to compartmentalize that feeling, and it would feel so isolating, paralyzing, and debilitating. And sure, it gets better as the day moves on, but every morning it would come back. I switched companies so many times. I relapsed on painkillers just so that I could get through work. And it became such a terrible cycle of bad habits of running away and not facing things directly and avoiding things and suppressing and projecting, that I ended up working just so that I could keep up with my bad habits. And at that point, I wasn't even working to save money. I was working just to keep getting painkillers so I didn't have to face what I was running away from. And that's what happens to you when you don't face what's inside of you. And what I've come to understand is what we call the silence is what Carl Jung would call the shadow. And we all have one, and we all have to face it at some point in our lives. Because if you don't, it will only go underground, and it will fester, and it will manifest, like I said many times in my channel, it will manifest in ways that you at least expected in your relationships, your health, or your finances, whether it's now or 10 years down, 20 years down, 40 years down the road. It will come back up unless you face it. And no, the work is not easy, and you are not going to change overnight. But this is work worth doing if you want a peaceful life. Every small step you take, you're nurturing something that you can't fully see yet. But just imagine 5, 10, 20, 40 years from now, how different you would be if you just did the work. Unless you want to be like that one elderly grandma grandpa neighbor that you really don't like. That could be you. And yeah, you're going to want recognition from people. You're going to want someone to say, you're doing a great job. But needing that is what's actually going to keep you stuck. Don't be a donkey waiting for a carrot to move. Do it because your life depends on it. And don't be afraid to slow down either. Because at some point we have to ask ourselves, am I being productive or am I just running? Because running and chasing can be fun in the moment, but how exhausted are you really? We all want to feel safe. We all want to feel secure. And sometimes we look for that in other people. But the real work is learning how to sit with yourself, to face the silence so that you're not unconsciously projecting your pain onto your relationships or taking it out on your finances or holding it in your body. And if you make mistakes, own it. If you don't self-reflect, start, because you're not above it all. Your shit stinks just like everyone else's. And the most courageous thing you can do is to be honest with yourself. I'm not saying beating yourself down, but be honest with yourself. Don't let people convince you that vulnerability is weakness, because that is how you end up disconnected from everyone, including yourself. Treat your relationships as sacred and understand not everyone deserves your time and energy. And don't be afraid to lose things. One of my favorite quotes is, "It's only after we've lost everything that we can become anything." So be free. Make those mistakes. Face the silence. It's going to be hard at first, but your mind will adjust. And one day, what used to feel suffocating will finally feel like peace. And yeah, it's going to be overwhelming at first. No doubt about it. I've been down that road. But avoiding it, it's only going to keep you stuck. Do you want to be that grumpy elderly neighbor that you don't like? Come on now. At some point, you have to ask yourself, am I healing or am I just staying busy? Because those two are not the same thing. A lot of people look productive, but they're really just running. If you want peace, real peace, you're going to have to slow down. You're going to have to face yourself. You're going to have to hear things that you don't want to hear, because that's where healing starts. Not in the noise or the distractions, in the silence. So stop running, face it, little by little. And if you don't know where to start, start small. Practice. Try doing things without constant noise. No music, no background distractions, just you and your thoughts. And give yourself 10 minutes in the morning. No phone, no scrolling, just you and your thoughts. And maybe brushing your teeth. And at night, instead of reaching for your phone as soon as your head hits the pillow, be still. Let your mind settle. Practice. It's going to be difficult at first. I haven't said this enough, but that discomfort, that is where the work is done. And the more you get used to it, the better you get at it. But you have to start now. It's never too late to start now, not tomorrow, today, now. And over time, I promise you, it won't feel so loud anymore. It will feel more like clarity, like peace, like you finally met your true self. It's only after we've lost everything that we're free to do anything. And for a lot of us, that losing everything moment is when the noise stops and the distractions fall away. And all that is left is you. So don't be afraid of that moment, because that moment might be when your life begins. I'm Risa. I've lived the pain, and now I help you rise.